Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Top Rope Takes. I'm Jason Marcus alongside my good buddy Willie Thrill. Will, how's it going?
It's great. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan,
It
Jason,
is.
because we got the Royal Rumble, probably the most hyped I've been for a pay-per-view in a really long time, even more so than last year's Rumble. Maybe WrestleMania came close, but this one was just the unpredictability factor is strong with this show. So I'm looking forward to discussing our predictions, what crazy stuff might happen, and so forth.
The Royal Rumble is one of my favorite pay-per-views. I think that's a common sentiment amongst all wrestling fans. The unpredictability of this year's card, like you said, is going to make it so fun. It's an all-star lineup. All the biggest names are here. It's going to be a fun show. Special start time at 6 o'clock, so they're going to run long, we assume. But man, I'm excited. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's get our official predictions, starting with the women's Royal Rumble match. Now, we've had a lot of people declare. We have our current champions are Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown and Rhea Ripley on Raw. The winner will challenge one of those two ladies at WrestleMania in Las Vegas. Will, any initial thoughts?
Yeah, this is a bit of a tricky one to predict because logic and watching WWE for the past 5 or so years, maybe 6, 7, just as long as there's been a women's Royal Rumble, I think it's clear that Charlotte Flair's a heavy favorite. And I just don't know if that's like what I want to see. Like it would just be kind of like one of those things that would deflate the crowd, especially because I think the women's rumble is likely to open the show, if
Yes, I
not be
agree.
one of the first. It would be the rumble before the men's rumble. So having Charlotte Flair win would kind of be like, oh, really? And
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's by design so that the men's winner will be just so overwhelming that people will forget about the women's rumble being Charlotte Flair winning as usual. But she is currently, I'm looking at this right now, she is the Royal Rumble odds on favorite, minus 110 odds for all the gamblers out there.
Mm.
And so that's a pretty heavy favorite, but right underneath is interesting because you have Becky Lynch
Interesting. Yeah.
at plus 200, who we don't know if she's in the Rumble. But I would, if I were to put money on her presence being in the Royal Rumble,
Yes.
I would say those odds are pretty high. So I do think we get Becky Lynch here. And right now, it just seems like she's the one that makes the most sense that the crowd wouldn't be deflated by.
Yeah.
I think we are going to get Flair and Stratton. So if they wanted Flair to win, I wouldn't be surprised about that. But Becky Lynch, at least, would be a shocking surprise, and people would just be excited for her to be in the Rumble and possibly win.
Yeah. I think Charlotte Flair is probably my pick my pick as well. But just for the interest of making this, different, I'm gonna go with Becky Lynch. Yeah, I do think it's gonna be those two at the wire. I think Io Sky is gonna be involved at the end. I think Liv Morgan's gonna get involved at the end. Is Becky Lynch the overwhelming babyface favorite that gets thrown out at the end? Is that your prediction? Is it Charlotte and Becky at the final two?
I do think that's the final two. I think the funniest. This is how like it's close it is between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch being 1 and 2, and really no one else jumping out the gate. Do you
Hmm.
want to take a guess as to who has the third best odds on the betting site that I'm looking at?
My guess it would be either Io Sky or Bianca Belair.
It's Rhea Ripley, who is currently the women's world
What?
heavyweight champion, and by my knowledge, does not have a women's championship match uh
How
at the
outdated is that
Rumble
article?
or this. I don't know. This is, I mean, they're updating it on the spot. Like,
I feel
let me
it's
see. This
here's
last
the
updated January 28th. So it was updated yesterday
so
by the time this video
okay.
comes out. But so that just seems strange to me that they would
Yeah.
even list that there.
Who's
Maybe they're
below
thinking
her?
something crazy happened. Then it's EO Sky, which I do think is fair, but it's still long shot odds. And this was the most surprising one. And if I were to throw like any little bit of don't bet on wrestling, guys. But if I were to like be interested in an odds, Bailey at plus 1800 seems like way long shot. Roxanne Perez actually has better odds than Bailey
Wow.
does, as well as people like Jade Cargill and Alexa Bliss, who I do think are going to show up at this Rumble, but I don't think are going to win the Royal Rumble.
Well, speaking of women who are going to show up and not win, we got some news this past week that Jordan Grace has signed a full 3-year deal with WWE, so expect her to be in the mix here. Who are we excited to see Jordan Grace square up against first?
Oh, I mean, her and Bianca Belair's showdown last time was
Mhm.
great, and I think it adds a different dynamic that Bianca and Naomi are the tag champions because there's obviously history with Jordan Grace and Naomi. So her going head up with those two, I think would be fun, and maybe finding a potential tag part. Maybe she teams up with like an Ivy Nile, who I know they work out together extensively. I like those two going face to face. There's a lot of interesting possibilities with Jordan Grace, and I would love, they're not going to do this, but I would love if she were to enter and win the Rumble in a surprise fashion. That would be a really cool thing. At the very least, maybe she gets the Iron Woman spot,
Yeah.
gets in early, stays in there the longest. But I'd love to see a phenomenal showing from Jordan Grace.
Who's your first two entrants out? Who's one and two?
I
Because
think,
yeah,
oh man, this is tough because I had a great pitch before, but I don't think it's possible. But I do want them to do this in some capacity where Becky Lynch comes out as like a big surprise, not
Mhm.
necessarily one and two. Becky Lynch comes out as a big surprise, number 29, let's say,
Okay.
and number 30 is AJ Lee. AJ Lee steals the thunder from Becky
Yeah.
Lynch, and that would then result in them doing Becky and AJ at WrestleMania, kind of
Oh,
like a
interesting.
kindred spirit of CM Punk and Seth Rollins
Mm.
doing the Becky Lynch AJ stuff. As far as one and two, I wouldn't hate if it was Bailey and Roxanne Perez. Bailey comes out
Oh,
number
interesting.
one,
Yeah.
kind of has to defend her spot of winning the Royal Rumble. Number two, Roxanne Perez, who she's had problems with. And I could also see being someone who stays in there for a long time in the Royal Rumble.
I'm trying to think of my second name. I feel very confident actually that Liv Morgan's going to be one of the first two, just
Okay.
because she's had a big year. I think you would give her the full entrance, but I don't know who the baby face is across from her.
I I would love if it was Liv Morgan one and then big surprise Alexa Bliss number two.
Oh, interesting. There
And
you go.
you had the shorties go head to
The
head,
cheap blondes.
kind of
Every
the
wrestling fan's
the
dream.
mirror moment, like kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
doing that.
Could
So
see
that would be
Naomi.
fun. Naomi, yeah. I mean, she was two last year, so
Oh,
but
okay.
you could do it again.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't mind a fun thing if they did Lyra one, Chelsea two, or Chelsea one, Lyra
Mm,
two. Have the mid card champions go face to face,
yeah.
starting off the Rumble.
All right. So we are in agreement that we both think Charlotte Flair is winning, but I said if Charlotte Flair doesn't win, Becky Lynch would be a close second.
Who's your
So
call for most eliminations in the Royal Women's Royal Rumble?
I think they're going to have Nia Jax the monster spot.
Okay. I think that's a fair guess. I would love to see it go to Jordan
Dream
Grace, but I
Grace.
could see Nia Jax, or I could even see them give a big push to Raquel because I think they want to add some steam to her. So I
Yeah,
could
but
see her
Raquel's
getting
so
some
tiny. She's not going to like, you know what I mean? She's like more of an
real
endurance
time.
person.
She's
I don't
not
know.
that tiny. I think you're crazy.
She's definitely like 5 foot on the dot.
Raquel Rodriguez?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking Roxanne Perez in my
No, Raquel's
head.
5 foot. No, Roxanne, I don't see getting multiple
Sorry.
eliminations. I think
Yes, Raquel
Raquel is someone they
Rodriguez.
would
I
have.
think is a yeah. I agree with that. Sorry, mix up.
Yeah, all good, all good. That's so
Okay.
funny. This is like the two complete opposite
Yes.
people.
Yeah, she's a little tiny. Have you noticed that Raquel Rodriguez has been channeling her inner Diesel lately?
Yeah, which is why she could get the diesel spot. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
reason why it's called the diesel spot.
Was
So
she part of that The Way with Johnny Gargano and NXT?
no, that was Indy Hartwell.
That was Indy Hartwell.
Yeah,
Okay, because I remember they did like a DX or like NWO like cosplay at one point, and somebody was Diesel.
I think that she might have done that with Dakota Kai. I thought that might have been it
Maybe,
when they were tag partners. That
maybe.
could have been it.
But either way, Charlotte Flair, odds-on favorite. All right, let's go move on to the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. We have DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns. 2 out of 3 falls. This match is going to be a banger, Will. I'm very excited for this. Very rare that we see the tag titles defended on PLE. But I think this is a cool showcase spot for them. I think they're going to tear the house down. Who you got?
Yeah, I think I would say DIY holds on to these titles. I think it's going to be a really fun spot. I do There's part of me that's a bit disappointed that we're not getting the Motor City Machine Guns in the Rumble because I just thought they would have like a cool little moment in the Rumble. But I get it. You want to make sure like these guys have their match, and there's nothing ruling them out of the Rumble. But I would hope that since there's so much talent on the roster, that the reason why they're putting them in this match is because they want to have some room for like an NXT call up or maybe just more surprises in the Rumble. So I totally understand this match taking place and just having an exciting match in between the Rumble matches. So I think it's a good spotlight for them. I think they get more spotlight being in a match like this than they would having just like a quick spot in the Rumble. But yeah, I think DIY is probably going to retain. They could switch it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It just depends on what the direction is for WrestleMania. But I DIY just want it. I would want them to have a lengthier title reign than it just be kind of a hot potato title.
Yeah, I kind of think Motor City Machine Guns are actually going to win them. I think
Okay.
just because they're newer to us and fresher, and I think this is having them giving them a big moment on a big card to win the tag titles back. And then there's obviously all the story you can do with Johnny and Tommaso going forward. But I think if Motor City Machine Guns lose this match, they're already kind of like, now what?
Yeah, no, I get that perspective. I just think that because they just turned DIY heel and they just got the titles. Like, I don't know if they go directly into Gargano and Ciampa feuding together just because they just have these new fresh characters. I don't think they would then pivot to one of them turning back babyface
Mm,
or whatever the plan would be. Maybe Motor City Machine Guns win and they're still a heel team, but they're just trying
yeah.
to take down the Motor City Machine Guns, which then post WrestleMania you can start to do a breakup angle.
Hmm.
So I don't hate that. It really could go either way, but I'll go DIY to retain.
All right, and I'll go to Motor City Machine Guns. It'll be a great match regardless, though.
Yes.
Alrighty, up next we have Cody Rhodes defending the WWE Championship against Kevin Owens in a ladder match. Both the WWE Championship and the Winged Eagle title will be held above the ring. Um, I mean, Cody's winning this, right?
I think Cody's winning this. It seems predictable, but I think the exciting intrigue in this match is how Sami Zayn
Yeah.
will or won't get involved. I do think there would be a great near fall spot
Mm-hmm.
if Sami Zayn does what he's been doing for the past 2 weeks and accidentally
Mm-hmm.
hits Cody with something and Kevin's climbing up the ladder. And then either Cody gets back on his feet or Sami Zayn's like, no, I didn't mean for this to happen, and then turns on Kevin Owens in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the intrigue of this match. I'm glad they added that layer because otherwise this would have kind of be just a predictable ladder match. But to give that intrigue of what Sami Zayn might do, I'm looking forward to this match. And I think no matter whether or not they had the Sami Zayn element in, I thought this would be an entertaining match, but it would be clear Cody's winning. I still think it's clear Cody's winning, but I think there's a lot of cool stuff you could do within this match to propel stories going forward.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a fun match. Ladder matches are always pretty fun. I am interested to see what direction they take Kevin Owens after this because I think this will be the end of the KO Cody stuff and lead into our next prediction, which is the winner of the Men's Royal Rumble. All right, Will, the main event, Men's Royal Rumble, an all-star lineup. All the biggest names are in it, but only one can win and main event WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. Over this show, you saw we've talked about who we think the odds are favorites are. But Will, I need to know who is winning the Royal Rumble and going to WrestleMania.
Still really tough. And I think there's a lot of major favorites. And I do, once again, I will turn to the odds makers for this one because over the weekend, before looking at the odds, I was just thinking, well, Cena has the clearest path to a WrestleMania title match.
Yeah,
And I could see him going after either title. So him winning the Rumble seems logical just because we know Cena's going to be in a title match.
mm-hmm.
It would make sense for him to win because he's clearly one. There's only two people who get a title match, and he's going to be one of them.
Yeah,
So he's obviously a favorite for that reason. But I do think because it's his final run, we are going to see him in one final elimination chamber
I agree
match.
with
So I'm
that.
going to rule out Cena.
Hmm.
Although I would not be upset if he won the Rumble. I think it would be a great moment for him. But
For
I just
sure.
think he's going to be in that Elimination Chamber match. So then we go to CM Punk. And after Raw, I really want to see CM Punk win this match. I really do. But they're still playing up this favor.
Hmm.
And he's mentioned that the favor has to do with potentially main eventing WrestleMania.
Hmm.
Could that be a factor into the Royal Rumble? We'll have to see Saturday, but it just makes me think that this journey with CM Punk main eventing WrestleMania is still going to be a journey. And I don't know if that means he's going to win the Royal Rumble. It would kind of put like a big halt into that
Yeah.
journey, and it'd make the favor seem kind of irrelevant at that point. And they
Right.
would, I don't think they would add that favor if they
Hmm.
didn't have a plan with it at some point in the future. So I'm going to rule Punk out, which
Oh,
is
interesting.
upsetting. And I do,
Not where I thought you were going to go, to be honest.
I thought, well, me either. And if I'm going by my heart, if in my heart of hearts, he is who I'm going to be
I
rooting
was fully
for on
preparing for you to
Saturday.
pick CM Punk. So, okay.
But we go down the list because,
Yeah.
and you got Roman.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're doing Cody Roman 3. And he's clearly, if he wins the Rumble, he's got to go after that title.
Right.
So I don't think that's the case. Which then leads me to who I think has a really good shot, and not a lot of people are talking about it, is Seth freaking Rollins,
Wow.
who before, and this was before even looking at the odds. And after looking at the odds, I'm not surprised because Seth Rollins is the odds-on favorite to win this Royal Rumble.
Oh, interesting. Shocking. All right.
It's close because there's actually 3 favorites, but Seth has better odds than Punk or Cena. It's Seth at minus 200, Cena and Punk at minus 150 apiece. I think any of these 3 could win. And actually, if I were doing live odds after that promo on Raw, I would put CM Punk as like the favorite. But I do think because of the favor, it kind of rules him out. So where I think that goes is Rollins winning. They did set up him and Gunther, but I also wouldn't be upset if somehow Punk cashes in the favor with him facing Gunther at Elimination Chamber, winning that, and then it being Punk and Rollins to main event a WrestleMania. So
Interesting.
that's where I could see it going.
Yeah.
But I also can see it being Rollins wins, challenges Gunther straight up. That doesn't seem as appealing. If that were the case, then I would go with a long shot here, Logan Paul at plus 1400, because I think that's
Come on.
exciting.
You don't actually believe Logan Paul's winning.
Out of the long shots, he's got the best chance in my opinion. But there's some other names I want to bring up to you, and I just
Okay.
wanted you to go down the line and say what their possible chances are, because this one's shocking, and I don't think he's winning the Rumble, but I thought he would have better odds than this. Goldberg at plus 7,000.
No way.
No way him winning the Rumble.
No. There's
But
not. This is such a loaded
okay,
Rumble.
but here's where I get tripped up on, because Ludwig Kaiser is plus 2,800 odds to win the Rumble. Do you think Ludwig Kaiser has a better chance than Goldberg?
I think they both have the same chance, which is 0.
Okay. But
Gold,
Drew McIntyre is a shocking one too. I just want to bring this up. Drew McIntyre plus 3,500.
this is such a loaded Royal Rumble. They are not wasting it on giving Goldberg the win. They can do that in any way. If they want to do a Goldberg Gunther match, they can set that up in any fashion.
I'm
He
sure,
doesn't
but
need to
here's
win
the
the
thing.
Rumble.
There's a lot of here's just where I get tripped up, is because there's a lot of people ahead who I think have a 0% chance of winning. And I don't think Goldberg's going to come out and win the Rumble. I'm not
He's not even
saying
going to be in the Rumble.
they're not even be in the Rumble. That's fine. But like if he did somehow come out, like I would then all of a sudden be like, there's a good chance he could win this. So, but let's talk about, there's 2 other guys who, or actually 3 other guys who have better odds than Goldberg, who if they came out, I would be like, oh no, they might win. One being Brock Lesnar at plus 1,000,
No.
better than Sami Zayn, better than Logan Paul. His odds. What do you think about Brock Lesnar and just his dynamic alone with everyone in that match? Think about it: Cena, Roman, Punk, Rollins, Drew McIntyre. He has history with all those guys. It would
Mm.
be interesting if he showed up.
Would be interesting, but it's not going to happen.
Okay.
This is too star-studded for them to pull a swerve like this. This is them continuing to tell a story that they've been telling for months. I don't think them hot shotting. This is a Vince McMahon thing to do, and we're not in the Vince McMahon era
So you don't think Brock's in the Rumble at all?
anymore. No,
Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
you
Well,
do. You think Brock's in the Rumble?
it's that just comes down to the lawsuit stuff. But I think if they have that figured out, I don't see why not. If they have him somehow in the WrestleMania plans, it would make sense for him to be in the Rumble. And I think it would be something where if he showed up, people would be like, "Oh
Mm-mm.
man, he has a good shot of winning," but then someone eliminates him, and then it
Right.
sets up his eventual match. I don't think he's in the Rumble. I don't know what the status is of the lawsuit. I think it's still active, so we'll table that one. How about Randy Orton? People have been wanting to see Cody and Randy go at it, and Randy's kind of been to the side because of the stuff that happened with him and Kevin Owens. Do
Yeah.
you see Randy returning and maybe even having a shot at winning this?
I mean, it depends on where he is on his injury stuff. I could see him returning, but I don't see him winning.
Okay. Because I
Yeah.
could also see that being a factor in the Cody Rhodes match that
I
we
think you're more likely to
discussed.
get Randy Orton and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania than Orton and Cody at this point.
Right. I do agree. And I do think if he returns, it's more likely in the ladder match than the Rumble.
Mm.
Final one I'll throw out there before we get to who you think's going to win. The Rock. Was his Netflix shtick just one big swerve for him to come out, number 30, chuck a bunch of SOBs over the top rope, and we're actually going to get Cody and The Rock at WrestleMania. Plus 600 odds. He's got the fifth best odds in the Rumble.
I'll tell you this much: it's certainly more likely than a Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, or Ludwig Kaiser. With that being said, it could happen, but I don't think they will. I really think they're going to reward somebody who's a full time person with this Rumble win, and then they'll figure out how to tell the story to get to everything else that they want to get to without winning the Royal Rumble. I think I think the Royal Rumble is too much of a reward for somebody to just give it to a part timer. When's the last time you saw a part timer win the Royal Rumble?
I can name you 5 times we've seen a part timer win the Royal Rumble. I mean, it's been in the past decade. We saw Triple H win the Rumble. I mean, we saw Brock, who's basically a part timer, win the Rumble. So I get what you're saying. That's all Vince McMahon era stuff.
Mm,
So I I get that aspect of it. And I do hope. I'm just saying I do hope that it's a full time person. I think it sends the right message with the Royal
mm,
Rumble. But I don't I there's still part of me that has like that trauma that's
yeah,
like it could always happen. It could
it
always
could.
happen where part-time comes in. Think about Batista when he was a part-timer coming in, stealing the spotlight, and the fans
Yeah, but
completely threw
even
that
then,
back on.
he was starting a full time run.
That lasted 3 months.
Well, emphasis on
So
starting.
it started and ended, which I would consider part-time. But okay, so you don't like Ludwig Kaiser, you don't like Goldberg, you don't like Uncle Howdy either at plus 3,000.
I do
Oh,
not. I don't even like Uncle Howdy to be in the
really? Okay.
Rumble. No,
Interesting. Yeah, they kind of keeping them off TV, so that kind of makes me think he
there's too
might do
many
something.
spots. There's only 30 is not that much considering all the main big stars you
Well, they
have.
have 15 announced. Should we go through who they have announced? Because they have
Sure,
Cena, Punk, Roman, Rollins, Drew. We didn't mention Jey Uso.
he's gonna be in there.
Plus 1,800. I don't like his chances, but that seems pretty high for Jey Uso.
Hmm.
LA Knight.
No,
I think he's not doing. Wait, you don't have any predictions for anything he does in the Rumble?
no, he'll be involved. He's not winning.
That's a, you know what? This is why you tune into the Top Rope Takes because you will know that LA Knight, our big prediction is that he is involved in the Royal Rumble match. So
Yeah,
good
I could see
prediction
him
there.
being one or two when you talk about the big pop at the beginning. I could see him being number one.
All right. Well, then we also got Shinsuke, who I think that's where the direction is. LA Knight tossing out Shinsuke. Penta announced for the Rumble. I hope he has a
Yeah,
good spot. I would love to see him be one of those Iron Man
yeah, I
performances.
think he'll do well.
Braun Breaker, who
Yep,
is always a candidate for tossing out a bunch of people.
yep.
You got Chad Gable, who I think, we'll have fun back and forth with some people on the roster. Maybe
Thank
Punk has
you.
talked about working with Gable. I wonder if they maybe do a little exchange
I
there.
think Gable's your odds-on favorite for the 1 second spot where he gets
That's
in and
crazy to
is
me
immediately
because
eliminated.
I don't think he's winning, but you got to have him in there to do stuff. He's always fun to watch for at least 5 minutes, and then you can toss him out. And then they announced Carmelo Hayes. I think Carmelo Hayes could do a fun spot if he's in the ring, and Trick Williams is a surprise entrant. I
I
think
think
that'd
Trick
be a cool
Williams will
little
be there.
moment.
I think there'll be a decent amount of NXT people there. I see Obafemi in it. I see Trick
Really,
Williams. Yeah.
as the NXT champ, even
Yeah,
though
why
they've
not?
established you could go after the NXT championship
Yes.
in the match. Okay, it's interesting. I could see it happening, but I
Because
don't know what
Obafemi
that.
could win and go after the WWE Championship.
Sure, but then I mean, then why not have Rhea Ripley in the women's match going after the
Listen,
other champion? So yeah, I mean, I guess they could do it. I think if they want to keep some integrity, they keep them off the. I would want them to be in like the box seats watching this match, and then you can make them a star that way. Uh, but you get Trick Willie. Do you see anyone else from NXT?
Javon
Like
Evans
someone that is.
potentially.
Oh, I like
Ethan
that.
Page.
That's fun. Ethan. Yeah, I guess Ethan Page would be cool.
Yeah.
I could see. I also see Jacob Fatu in this match. He's
Oh,
my pick.
100%. He's your monster pick.
He's yeah. I'm picking him to eliminate and possibly threaten the Royal Rumble record for eliminations. I would want to
That's
see
still
him get
hold.
at least 10.
Is still that held by Braun Strowman or no? That's Roman Reigns, right?
Roman Reigns, yeah. Uh, no,
I think I'm.
Brock.
Is it Brock?
But that 2020 Rumble, and it's
Mm.
tied because it's Braun too, but Braun did it in the Greatest Royal Rumble. So if you
Right.
want to count that, Brock did it in a 30-man where he had like 13 eliminations.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Uh,
It's
so
a, there's
yeah,
a lot. There's a lot of field. A lot of people who could win it. All right, you ready for my prediction?
yeah, let's do it. I forgot that you haven't made a prediction. Then we'll talk about more surprises because I'm
Okay.
fascinated by gambling odds in Royal Rumble. So
Okay. So this is tough. Because I don't really know the direction, but I feel I agree with you on the Cena point that Cena's got the clearest path. But I do think they are promoting Cena at the Elimination Chamber heavily, and I think it makes sense for him to be in the Elimination Chamber. And for that reason, I think Cena comes up just short, potentially the last one thrown out. That leads me to two other people: CM Punk and Roman Reigns. CM Punk, I think they've been teasing, and with the story about him main eventing WrestleMania, I think it makes the most sense for CM Punk to win. However, I just don't see a universe where anybody throws Roman Reigns over the top rope. I think he is the golden goose. I think he is the most protected superstar in the business. I don't know what he does, but I feel very confident that all Roman Reigns does is main event WrestleManias. He will be involved in a championship match. He's not going to be involved in just like a one-on-one exhibition match. Whether or not he gets against Cody Rhodes and they do Roman Cody 3, I don't know. I think you very well could have Cody drop the championship at Elimination Chamber and do Roman versus whoever. But I feel very confident that Roman Reigns will be winning the 2025 Royal Rumble.
wow, that's
Acknowledge
interesting
your tribal chief.
because I think he's getting tossed by Jacob Fatu. I think that's the clear
Ooh,
direction for Roman Reigns. You said there's no one out there, and you're 100% right. But on Saturday night's main event, there's a breakout star who is waiting for Roman Reigns to enter the Royal Rumble and kick his ass out over the top rope and out of the ring. I just think there's too much because of what you just said. There's too much story there where whoever eliminates Roman Reigns, it is just such a like great story element to
mm,
carry into WrestleMania because it still protects Roman Reigns. You're just throwing him over the top rope. And
yeah,
there's 500 different ways he could be distracted or
yeah,
caught up in something else where someone tosses him over the top rope. Uh but I don't hate the idea that Roman Reigns is involved in a championship match because it's really what the direction for Roman Reigns should be. He should be trying
yeah,
to go after a championship, specifically the championship that he lost.
correct.
So I do think, while that is great, I think he will get caught up with whoever tosses him over the top rope and try to establish, like, no, you're not going to do that. I'm going to take you out, and then I'm going to go after my championship. And I
Yeah,
like Roman Reigns as a really strong challenger for whoever. has the titles after WrestleMania, but
Yeah.
not necessarily him being in a championship match. I don't hate it, but I don't. And I can be sold on Cody Roman 3, but I just think there's more exciting things for Cody to do
Hmm.
at WrestleMania. And I kind of want something more refreshing. I think you should build up to Roman Cody 3 later on down the line, not just with 2 months built.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting pick. I'm going to disagree. I think this, I'm going to go with the safe pick, which doesn't seem that safe. I'm going to go Seth Rollins. I'm going to hang on
Hmm.
to
Okay.
that. But in my heart, obviously, be rooting for my guy, CM Punk.
Alrighty. So there you have it. Will's got Seth Rollins. I've got Roman Reigns. We both think Jacob Fatu is going to be the monster spot with the most eliminations. I think 1 and 2 is going to be LA Knight, and I also think it's going to be Jacob Fatu. Although I could also see Jey Uso kind of, I know he was number 1 last year, but I could see him getting that spot again just because the most over thing about him is his entrance. You're going to deny people the entrance. Maybe he makes his way through the crowd. I don't know. But I'm going to go with LA Knight and Jacob Fatu 1 and 2.
Okay.
Um,
I'll go this is tough. I'll say Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, 1 and 2.
Alrighty.
And they got to go at it. Former brothers. They were, you know,
Sammy
in the
Uso.
bloodline together, Sami Uso. I think that would be a fun 1 and 2 to start the Rumble match. And just real quick, do you have any other predictions on surprises? The odds that kind of tickled me a bit was Ricky Starks at plus
I
2,800.
don't think so. I
I
think
don't
he's more
think
of an
he's showing
NXT
up in
guy.
the Rumble. Yeah, that would be a weird way to introduce him.
I
It's
think
just
there'll be
that
some TNA people. I think Joe Hendry will be there, and potentially Moose. Some big TNA names.
I like that. I think Nick Nemeth is another
Yeah.
possibility. I think he could just because not only is it a TNA partnership, but he's got history with some guys on the roster. I think him and
Yeah.
Drew having a face to face would be pretty cool.
Hmm.
Um, or even him and Cena would be kind of fun. I did,
Yeah.
had that thing a while ago. So yeah,
Hmm.
the Nikki
All right.
Bella controversy. Just me as a
Yes.
total Divas fan.
Yeah. All righty. Anything else, Will, before we sign off here?
Yeah, I'm excited for this Royal Rumble. Stay tuned because we're gonna have a big recap show for the Royal Rumble. So
Yes, we're
stay
gonna
tuned
try
for
and
that.
yes, it's gonna be a big recap show. Stay tuned for that. We may have a special guest here. We won't give it away just yet, but who knows? Maybe somebody with experience at the Royal Rumble will be joining us for the recap show. So
Who knows? Don't want to get your hopes up too much. We still don't know, but we really hope so. And yeah, just have fun at the Royal Rumble. This is an exciting time to be a wrestling fan. I said it before. I'll say it again. I'm pumped for the Royal Rumble. Let us know who you think is going to win the Royal Rumble, both the men's and the women's. I'm curious to know
hmm,
what everyone else's picks are and give us the reason why you think they're going to win because I think there's a lot of justifiable potential winners in this Royal Rumble match.
yeah,
So definitely let us know. Subscribe, stay tuned for more content.
absolutely. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you all next time. Enjoy the Royal Rumble.
Peace.